Talk about estate planning. I know it's your favorite topic. Who doesn't sit around and talk about what's going to happen when they die? I mean, the only thing more exciting than talking about estate planning is talking about life insurance, which we're also going to talk about here too. Okay? So, estate planning, what's the point of it? Well, if you don't have a plan right now and you're watching this video, go out and get one. In fact, if you don't have a will and you're watching this video, go to www.legalzoom.com right now and go and put a will together. I mean, seriously, who gets your cat when you die? Who gets your baseball card collection when you die? Who gets your house when you die? And there's the real issue, real property. Things like real estate, homes, really expensive cars, or securities and other assets. It's all important that you make sure that that there's a plan for those in place, that they go to who you want them to go. Otherwise, ta-da, guess who gets those? The state. Whatever state you live in. Your estate gets liquidated, taxes get taken out, and then whatever's left over gets passed on. Well, if you have a will. If you don't have a will, then it's all a big mess. It's called probate, and there are really important reasons for staying out of probate, like the length of time that it takes to solve. We once had a person that they died, their grandmother died, and left the annuity they skipped a generation and left it to the granddaughter. Well, the granddaughter wasn't 18. She needed a custodian. The parents had to legally prove that they were the parents of the child, or they had no say in the variable annuity. Well, guess what happened? Yeah, the world blew up in 2007 and 2008, and nobody was watching that money because the parents didn't want to spend the money that it took to legally prove that they were the parents of the rightful heir of this annuity. Look, estate planning is totally important. In fact, for your assets that aren't in retirement accounts, are they in TOD accounts? Do you know what TOD stands for? It stands for transfer on death. All of these are really important things. If you've never heard of any of this stuff before, because the chances are that you're working with somebody that you probably shouldn't be working with. Okay? You need to have a will in place. You need to have life insurance in place. Okay, let's think about an example. You have $500,000 in fully taxable assets over here, and you die. What happened to those assets? Well, remember when I said they were fully taxable? Taxes come out first, and then the rest transfers on to the next generation. Over here, I have $500,000 in life insurance. And when you die, $500,000 gets passed on to the next generation. That's right, life insurance is tax exempt, and it passes on to the beneficiary without having to pay taxes on it. Why would you not want to pass on money tax-free, especially if that's the goal? I mean, why do you have life insurance? Is it because you just want something in case of an emergency, or because you want to pass on wealth to the next generation? Most of the time, wealth in this country is transferred through real estate or taxes. Sorry, real estate or life insurance. Taxes is what takes the big chunk out of things. Okay? Trusts. Do you have an AB trust? Do you know what an AB trust is? Does your CPA that you're working with and your lawyer that you're working with know what an AB trust is? If not, you need an AB trust. What happens is one spouse dies and their trust, whatever you want in there, they put a certain amount of property and assets in there, and that's the A trust. Second spouse dies, then you have the remaining assets in a B trust. What that means is you actually have two trusts that can escape whatever the limit is at the time of the estate tax liability. So if it's $1 million, you can actually shelter $2 million worth of assets with an AB trust. Okay, so that's why it's important that the person that you're working with, the whole team that you're working with, knows what they're doing. So what's that team made of? Well, you. Then you have your investment advisor. Then you have your CPA. Then you have your lawyer that puts together all your legal stuff like your trust. Then you have your real estate agent. Then you need your mortgage broker. You need your property manager in case you have multiple properties. You want to make sure that the kids aren't forced to liquidate everything when you die just to pay bills. I mean, what if the goal is to build a real estate empire, a la Donald Trump and his generations, right? I guarantee you that they don't own those real estate properties in their own personal name. They're either owned by a corporation or they're owned by a trust or an LLC or some other structure. But again, that's the whole point of having a great CPA and lawyer to work with. Those guys and gals have to talk to each other and figure out how the estate plan is going to work. Okay? I know it's boring and I know it's terrible, but estate planning is one of the most important things. And I mentioned custodians earlier. Okay? What happens if something happens to you and you have kids? Who gets your kids? I mean, have you put that in writing? Who gets your children when you die? Think of the relative that you least want to get your children when you die. Sorry, relatives, but that's the reality. What about families that have come from different religious backgrounds, or one person marries into another faith? You don't think there's going to be a fight when you're gone? Yeah, good luck with that. Look, all of these things can be planned for ahead of time. What if you don't want your kids to get money until they're 30 because they're just so irresponsible that you can't trust them? All of those things can be outlined in a trust. Okay? It's really important to put together an airtight, solid estate plan, and that can only be done with your A team that you put together. So if you don't have an A team, the number's right at the top of the screen. Also, read through the rest of the estate planning section. If you have any questions, send us a message. There's a contact us section, or just give us a call. Thanks so much for choosing Magnum Opus Financial, and have a great day.